Jungkook POV. Soon we reached in front of a cafe named Serendipity. It looked like a nice cafe from the outside. Granny finally took a stop to catch a breath in front of the cafe facing me. Here we are. I am telling you son, this cafe here makes the best coffee and snacks you could ever find. Even the owner is such a sweetheart. You should bring your lover here too someday. She told me. I just nodded in reply, smiling at her. She looked so excited as she spoke. Then shall we step in, Granny? I asked her. Yes, let's go, she replied enthusiastically, turning to the cafe to walk in. I opened the door for her and she walked ahead of me, getting inside. I entered after her and looked around. The cafe looked really nice and cozy from inside as well. It had that homey yet classy feeling to it. I was already loving it here. Hope the food is as good as the place looks and how Granny says. Speaking of her, I didn't notice that she had already made her way to the counter as I was lost looking around the place. I looked at the counter and saw that the granny was already ordering, so I decided to hurry to her to help her with it. As I was walking towards the counter, I saw a guy with blonde hair coming out from what I assumed to be the kitchen area. He had his head down so I couldn't see his face, but he looked painfully familiar, or was I imagining things? I didn't know. It was when he looked up, I froze. It was as if everything was moving in slow motion until our eyes met. I could see him visibly freezing as we kept staring at each other as if the whole world had disappeared and it was just the two of us. I just couldn't believe my eyes. He was actually in front of my eyes. The one my heart chose to fall for, keeps yearning for, is right in front of me. If you still don't understand who I am talking about, it's Chim. Right, I still don't know his actual name. I am definitely going to try and change that. As I was lost processing that he was really there, I noticed him suddenly blushing while looking at my hand. I looked down at my hands myself to see what was making him blush, only to realize I was holding a bouquet of sunflowers. Right, they were left behind. What a nice coincidence. I thought, yet couldn't help but blush a bit to myself at the thought of giving him flowers. I looked back at him to see he was already looking at me, and then the sweet smile he gave me. It was at that moment I realized I was a goner. Completely and utterly fallen for this mochi looking like an angel in front of me without any way to get back, not that I wanted to. Anyway, I didn't know how long it was that we were just lost staring into each other's eyes, but it was all broken when Granny called out to me. Son, hurry up here, you need to choose what you want as well. I am done ordering for me, she said, turning around to look at me. Huh, yay. I couldn't help but feel a bit, actually not a bit but a lot shy, as I was caught staring at someone by the granny, though I don't think she noticed who it was. I made my way towards the counter and quickly ordered for myself without looking up in case I made eye contact with you know who. For some reason, I was just feeling so shy. Damn, it feels like my dreams are coming true. And I know I am being super duper dramatic, but can you blame me? My man of my dreams is standing right in front of me. I mean, not exactly in front of me, as he is behind the counter somewhere. I don't know, since well I didn't have the guts to look up. After we were done ordering, Granny said she would go find a place for us to sit before making her way to one of the available tables. I stood at the side waiting to get our order. I tried to discreetly look around the counter to see if I could find Chim, but I couldn't find him anywhere. I couldn't help but sigh sadly. I was looking at the flowers in my hand, thinking how I had yet again lost my chance to talk to him. Destiny finally played its role and made us meet, but, yeah, I kept sighing, but I felt like crying internally. Why did this happen to me now? Where did he suddenly go? I was so lost in my thoughts that I didn't realize my order was done and that someone was calling for me. Bunny. But that one nickname caught my attention. I immediately raised my head to look at the person who called me, only to be lost staring again. Is that really him? Is he even real? Wait, does that mean he never left? Wow. I was caught so surprised that I forgot to reply. That was until I heard him giggle. He was blushing while giggling as he looked at me amused. I couldn't help but feel embarrassed. I scratched behind my head as I mumbled a sorry. God, why am I being so embarrassing? He just shook his head, pushing ahead a tray in my direction, still not able to stop himself from giggling. Because of me, you hear that? Anyway, I got confused with the tray, so I asked him. What? Your order? He said, giggling more. Oh. I hurried to take the tray but stopped midway looking at the sunflowers. This is my chance. You can do it, JK. It is now or never. I contemplated how to give them to him without making a complete fool of myself, but not a single good enough idea came to my mind, so I decided to just hand them to him. I lifted the bouquet towards him, so he would take them, but he just stared at it, then me in utter confusion. He had stopped giggling while I was busy contemplating my next move. "For you," I said to make it even more clear. "Me?" he asked, pointing at himself. I nodded solemnly, making his face bloom with a bright smile. He then shyly accepted the flowers with a small thank you, making me smile as well. Why did he have to be so cute? My gaze suddenly went towards the tray that was resting on the counter between us. It made me suddenly realize why I was here in the first place. Well, yes. I should get going then, I said, pointing at the tray and then behind myself. "Oh, yeah, yes," he said, understanding what I meant. "So, see you later then?" I asked just to make sure I could come see him. "Yeah, sure," he replied, nodding as he smiled at me in assurance. With that, I took my suit to head towards the table where the granny was waiting patiently for me. As I was making my way towards the table where the granny was, I remembered something. I turned around to look at Chim to see, he was still looking my way. "Jungkook," I said loud enough for him to hear. He looked at me questioningly. "My name, Jungkook. Jaeon Jungkook," I repeated more clearly. He smiled at me, finally understanding. I wasn't sure if I should wait for his reply or anything, but I still waited patiently for him to say something. "I think I did the right thing, cause soon," he replied. "Jimin, Park Jimin. My name," he said shyly. I couldn't stop myself from smiling at that. I finally knew his name. Yes.